What's up, guys? So we're gonna start talking about leg locks, basic leg lock offense, okay? This is gonna be in the beginning jiu-jitsu playlist. You guys can check that out. Also check out the link in bio to get your free mini course if you want more technique after watching this. So we get into a leg lock, we get into a single leg X. This is a leg entanglement, right? We're in a Rimi ashi, single leg X, straight ashi, whatever you wanna call it. But I have this connection on my partner. So just to go over what we talked about, finishing our basic leg locks, we have a dilemma between an Achilles lock and a heel hook, right? So if the foot is bent and I can get to the end of the foot, I can get all the way putting my wrist bone underneath and just above the heel, then what I can do is bring my hands high and I fold my elbow to my rib cage. So I'm trying to bring my elbow right to my hip, like this. And then when I land, I just back up and I go in to finish the Achilles lock. If Adam straightens his foot, it makes it very hard for me to get that fold in the foot and I can't finish the Achilles lock. But what I can do a lot of times is reach back and grab the heel now because it's exposed. He put it out for me. So if he were to point his toes and I try to catch the heel, it's much harder. But then the Achilles lock is there for me and I can go back down to my rib cage and finish here. If he points his foot, it's hard for me to do the Achilles lock, but the heel hook is showing itself. So I just grab the heel and I can start going into my attacks there. There's a third option though, and I think you guys should learn this when you're beginning because it doesn't really depend on any of these conditions. And I really like it, and people don't use it a lot. Very unorthodox, and your opponent oftentimes will have no answer for it. So when we get here, I don't like being in an Rimi ashi. There's some problems with this. He can do a lot of counters. He can do aoki locks like that. He could try to repound those legs and go into outside ashi. So I don't like sitting in an Rimi ashi for very long. I'm never gonna just sit here. I'm either gonna take it across and start moving into other things, or I'm gonna convert to an outside ashi. And for this one, we're gonna convert to an outside ashi, okay? Outside ashi just means I have two legs on the outside of one of his legs. That's all it means. So we have outside heel hooks here, and we have Achilles locks. But there's a third option. We can come up into what's called a reverse ashi. So what we have to understand is when we get into this, a lot of times people will dig for a heel hook, and your opponent will know that. He's been in here a couple times. He understands how to counter. He wants to take your back, right? So what do you think is gonna happen when I start digging for this heel? He's gonna see back exposure and he's gonna come up and try to take my back. And if I lose that heel, I will get my back exposed. But the trick is, guys, you keep the Achilles lock. If I have an Achilles lock, it doesn't matter how close Adam gets to my back, he'll never take my back. So I hold the Achilles lock, he goes, I turn all the way down, try to take my back at him. He can't. There's no meaningful control of my back. And the great thing about this, guys, is that the more he tries to take my back, the more it sets me up to actually go into the reverse ashi system, okay? So what do I mean? This is what I mean. He's gonna come up, he's gonna try to take my back, and as he's trying to take my back, I go onto my own knees, and now I keep hold of this Achilles. Do not let go. It is your lifeline. It's the only thing keeping you alive here, is this Achilles grip. If I lost it, he will take my back, so I must keep it. The entire time I keep it, I come up onto my knees and I'm just pushing into Adam. He's trying to take my back and I'm just pushing back into him and lifting his leg. This actually puts him on the ground easier the more he tries to come up onto me. So once we get into this position, if we turn towards the camera a little bit. Once we get into this position, we're sitting here. There's a couple advantages to this, guys. What can Adam not do? You might be thinking, he can't hand fight me. My hands are in front of my body. Try to hand fight me, Adam. There's nothing meaningful he can do to stop me from grabbing his legs. So a lot of times when we get here, you might be thinking, what would a person do to defend themselves in this position? And the most common reaction is that they just cross their legs. So he triangles his legs, and once his legs are triangled, he thinks they're safe. They're not. I'm just gonna go and I'm gonna match my left hand to his left foot, my right hand to his right foot. I'm gonna reach and grab his toes. If I pull up like this, he's very strong. He just goes down. I'm never gonna pull his hand up, or his foot up. So I go like this, I pull it to his knee, and I'm also gonna take this hand and grab his other heel, okay? So I'm pulling this one to his knee, I'm pulling this heel up, and now I have them both unlocked. Now I'm gonna put my elbow inside of his shin, and then I'm just gonna put this knee on the floor. I put this knee on the floor, and I put my head over his foot. I don't wanna lose it. If I just try to grab it here and he takes it away, I lost my position. So I have it here, I put my head over it, and then I wrap up the foot, and now I'm just gonna fall onto my side. Once I'm on my side, I wanna lock my legs. You might be asking, which way should I lock my legs? What do you think? If I lock my legs this way, he can reach my foot, he can open it up, he can push it apart, and he can unlock everything. So I want to lock my legs as a triangle on the bottom side, guys, okay? So when we get here, we have an option for a toe hold and an option for a knee bar, and they work in conjunction with each other. So whatever one I want will give me the other, right? So if I lost this leg completely, if Adam took it away from me somehow, I go to the toe hold. I grab the toes right at the toe line. I bring them towards his butt. I pull them into my body. I put my head over the foot, and I pull my left elbow towards me to finish. The only way Adam can stop me here is by pushing on my wrist. And when he pushes on my wrist, I feed the knee bar. So I take this hand and I feed the knee bar. And now I have a lat knee bar. It's one of the most powerful leg locks in jiu-jitsu. I put my hand on my own thigh and I just arch in for the finish. Now, it's very important that we stay on this leg. Why is it important? If I don't have both legs controlled, knee bars are fucking dog shit, okay? I know a lot of people like knee bars, and a lot of you get away with them because your opponent sucks at defending. Because if you don't have control of both legs, the only thing the guy has to do is internally rotate, and you'll never knee bar them. But they don't know that. Low-level competition, you're gonna get a lot of false positives, and you don't wanna train that way. We wanna train to be good people, not people who suck, right? So when we get here, I'm laying on the leg, and this means that Adam can't rotate. Try to rotate, he can't. Now, a knee bar is very powerful and very legit. I put my elbow back, I'm able to arch in and finish, okay? And then, again, just go over this. I can use the threat of the toe hold. He pushes on my wrist to stop it. That gives me the knee bar, and I feed back, okay? If I wasn't laying on this and stopping Adam's rotation, look what happens. Let's say I'm right here and I'm just trying to knee. That's all he has to do. All he has to do is rotate around. It's like a dog shit submission, okay? So when we do this, we really want to make sure that we always hold both legs. That's the only reason it works so well. So once again, we get into this, and instead of hanging out in a single leg X where I can be countered by somebody who's savvy, I'm going to put them in a position where they don't understand what's going on at all. Because nobody does this anymore. I don't know why. It's like a forgotten submission, but it's super legit. It works really, really well. I used to do it a ton. And it doesn't really depend on what your partner's doing. Even if Adam doesn't have a bent leg, I can come up at any time. Even if he gives you a really straight leg, which can even be a problem with the heel hooks. Sometimes if it's a long guy, their heel's so far back, I can't even catch it. Like if I was really short and Adam was like 6'5", I can't even reach back and get the heel when he does this, right? But what I can do is put my legs to the outside. I scissor my legs. So I bring my bottom leg all the way to my chest, and I bring my other leg all the way around his back, and this raises his knee above his hip. There's not a human on earth, you guys, that can get up off the ground and stand or start climbing in height without putting their knee below their hip, right? So if I try to get up at him, there's no way to get up here. So when I get here, I can put my forehead on the ground. Even if he has a super straight knee, he has a super straight leg, I just start turning, and I grab this knee tendon, and I just want to bring my knee under his knee. I'm trying to wedge it the entire way. So I go here, and I'm wedging it. And I'm keeping my elbow underneath of this lower leg. I don't want him to put it on the ground. If I put it on the ground, I'm going to start having issues, so I just start back heeling, start bringing my elbow back to my hip to keep it elevated. So his foot and his knee are still above his hip. He's never going to take my back here. If I lost this wedging, and he gets his knee out of this hole, he will take my back. So make sure you're always making sure that you have this. And if you ever feel like you're in danger, you're about to lose it, grab the Achilles grip. You will stay safe with it. I promise you. So we get up here, I start sitting back onto him, and I get into this position again. So we'll turn towards the camera one more time. A little bit more. Go. So this time, we get into this position. He locks his legs. This is what everybody does. They feel like they're in danger. They don't really understand it, but they know they don't want their legs here. So they start crossing to defend. I grab this with my left hand, left foot, left hand, right foot, right hand at the heel, right? I pull it towards his knee to open it up. Very weak in that direction. Now when I open it, I put my elbow inside this so I have a really good control over it. And then I'm gonna put this knee on the floor. Don't just fall. Don't have an uncontrolled fall. You wanna just put your knee on the floor, put your head over this foot, wrap it up, and now I can lay onto my side. Now there's no rotation that Adam can do to get out of the knee bar. If I have it already, I'll just pass it, and I can start going in for the submission. If I lost this in the transition somehow, and I need to get it back, I just start threatening the toe hold. Again, I still have connection of both of his legs. Even with the toe hold, he can't intelligently defend other than to push my wrist with his feet. And when he does that, I use it to feed back to my other side for the win. I hope you guys like this. This is an amazing system. Nobody uses it. You're gonna be way ahead of the game if you start using it and people won't know how to respond. So give it a shot, let me know how it is. This is Eddie with Crash and Flow, Eddie and Adam. Thank you, see you on the mats.
Damn, dude, I could have said boom right there.
Boom!